temper. And so you have to know how to continue, and then to derive how to be of service, to give your services, and then you see how you can gain good friends. Huh? And to become friends, you know, the art of making friends. Some people have to take courses on I do not know, the Carnegie courses or something, how to befriend others. You find here in the sayings, in the Buddha sayings, first thing to be friends is what? How? Do you know the art of making friends? How? To be generous, liberal. If you are very stingy, good, then no friends. But you must know how to share what you have with others. Of course, here, dana. Now you know what dana is. Sharing, liberality, hospitality. You know how to be hospitable to friends, to strangers also. Then you can make friends. So the practice of dana, there are different kinds of dana. There is the dana that you offer to the monks, which is very important. And there is also the dana which you share to those who are in need. In other words, to the poor, the needy. By giving them material things. Now, not only material things, because we see that many people are a bit reluctant to part with what they have because they say this is recession year and no bonus. In fact, this is a good time for you to do dana, and it will become real dana. Because when you have so much with you, all the bonuses, you give a little bit, and there is that kind of giving is not very good, no, not so strong. When you give something and it really hurts you, then it becomes a very strong giving. You have not heard those stories. How? During the time of the Buddha, I remember very clearly this one monk. Wherever he went, he get a lot of blankets. No? And then when the disciples of the Buddha went to the Buddha and inquired, how is it that fellow very strange? Wherever he went, people give him blankets. And then the Buddha says, who is that? Oh yes, that person, that one. And the Buddha just focused his attention to that person, and through his insight, through his wisdom, Buddha was able to see his previous birth. And the Buddha saw how the cause, the main cause was when he was in one of his previous life, he was a very poor person and he did not have sufficient clothing. But he had that one piece of cloth with him. And when he saw either a Pacheka Buddha or he saw some monks coming, he offered this. He took this one and he offered. And And because of that that genuine, sincere offering, because of that, when he was born, when that karma ripened, he had everything. Not everything. He had mainly clothes, because he gave clothes, no? So he gave blanket maybe. And he got blankets only. And you see, if you look around you, you will find that there are some people, they bring along with them certain kind of karma. Some people, wherever they go, people will give them food, but people won't give them clothing. Some people get a lot of clothing. Some people get houses. No? You believe people get houses? I don't know, not only through lottery. I know lottery you can win houses, but there are people who are born and they inherit houses from their parents, grandparents. They inherit those things. That's it. They are very lucky people. But we don't talk of mere luck. It is because of what they have given in the past. When that karma ripened, they receive these things. You see? So, during the time of the Buddha, there was that one monk, Sivali. You know Sivali, Reverend Sivali. You have the Sivali yantra, and you put that picture you put near the kitchen. And you do not know. And you can ask Venerable afterwards. And Sivali is very good for getting food. That's why people put his photograph near the kitchen, so that the kitchen will not be empty of food. No? Always there will be food, people come and give you. And that is only if you know the story of Sivali, and if you not only pray to Sivali, but you also practice, you do what he has done. You know what Sivali is good for? Good for getting food. And he was very useful, because during the time of the Buddha, wherever the Buddha went, there were not 1, 2, 3 people. There were hundreds of them. Sometimes 1,000 and more of his followers. So it is not so easy. Now, suppose today 500 monks come to Mahindarama temple. You think you all can provide food for 500 monks? 1 day, alright. 2 days? 3 days? 1 month? 3 months? Can or not? 500. Maybe you all can, no? But those days, there were not many Buddhists. No? So it is not so easy for the people to provide food for so many months. So, in fact, wherever the Buddha went, he made big company, big group, and the Buddha thought, where is Sivali? Because Arahant Sivali, wherever he went, there was no shortage of food. Food will just come, So, if you bring along Sivali will bring food to them. And that monk who is good for blankets, people will give blanket, and they will have, sufficient warm clothing there. So there are different people getting different things according to their actions. You also can see these things. These stories are meant for you to see, and also to observe what you are good at. And you should know what you are good at. Some of you are able to get things very easily, certain things very easily. But certain things you cannot get so easily. And not only that, some people, they give, they donate. And as a result of that, they are born in a very wealthy family. But when they are wealthy, many of them, they are not happy. They are not happy, although they have money. Why? There must be something wrong in what they have done previously. They have given, but they have not given with happiness. So it's a very important thing to give with a pure mind. When you give something, when you offer something, dana, and try to give it with a pure mind, without expecting something in return, or without regretting it after that, no? And because the giving is good, but a very important thing is to be happy. Then it becomes a very strong karma. So that when you receive things, when that karma ripens, you will receive and you will be happy too. No point having many things but if you are not happy. So this is what you call sharing. You share in material things, not only in material things, you share in, you can give dana by giving consolation, removing the fear, the worries of others. When people are in danger, when people are in fear and of losing their lives, so you know how to speak to them by your kind words, kind actions. You give them confidence. Now when you are able to give confidence to others, that is a kind of giving also. Then there is a third kind of giving, what you call the giving of Dhamma. Dhamma, the giving of truth. Of course, of all givings, we say that the gift of Dhamma excels all gifts. But we have also to learn how to give in all these different ways. That's it. And then, by listening to Dhamma, by remembering Dhamma, and then by trying to practice what you can understand, according to what you are able to understand, you try to practice. Even a little bit, even one thing, if you can practice, then you will realize. And when you realize that this Dhamma is like this, when I do this, this is what I experience, then you can convince others. You can give this Dhamma to others. Giving Dhamma to others did not mean only giving words, preaching to them. Don't start, after listening to Dhamma, you go home and say, all the children, sit down, and now I want to give you, highest gift. Because now New Year, no bonus, no more ang pao, I give you Dhamma. Very good too, if you can give them good Dhamma. In addition to some ang pao, you give them some Dhamma. A good thing. So try to come and learn Dhamma before the Chinese New Year so that you can give. And you also have a lot of opportunity to give the other kind of Dhamma service or confidence to others, because many people have lost their money, isn't it? Or worried and terribly. So try to give them, console them in various ways. Give confidence to others. This is how you can get friends. And then, of course, good friends, you must know also when you do dana, you must know to whom you do also. Huh? And that is why Buddha says in the first is to associate with the wise. So you must know how to do dana to the wise. And there are wise people. The mark, what is the mark? What is the characteristic of wise people? And the characteristic of wisdom is such that the person knows how to help you to overcome your sufferings. Whenever you have problems, he is able to counsel you. And when you follow his counsel, you follow his advice, you will overcome. You'll be able to overcome your suffering. Then that is a wise person. But if you go to that person and you ask for advice, he gives you one advice, and you put that advice sincerely, properly into practice, and you find that you have about 10 and 20 other problems coming up, that is not the mark of a wise person, although that person can be very clever. Because there are many intelligent people in this world, and when they solve problem, they solve one problem, they create a few hundred more. And yes, do you know when you have a stomach ache, you swallow some tablet, right? Huh? And when you swallow that tablet, normally they tell you to swallow 2 or 3, not one only, because when you swallow that one, then you may get, throat ache. And when you swallow this one, you may get a little bit palpitation here, so they give you another one. They solve one thing, but they create 2 or 3 other more. See? And that's what you call side effects. And so this is how very clever people, intelligent people solve problems. And you know how today they're really top elites of the world. You know how they all talk about world peace, isn't it? To have peace in the world. And you know how how much today they are fighting for peace. To have peace in the world, they build up more and more armaments, ammunition, bombs. And if you ask them why, because they say, in order to have peace, they build bombs. That is why so much of trouble there are. The world is truly lacking of wise people. There are enough of clever people in this world. So those among you who are very clever, try to be wise. And in other words, apply what you know, your knowledge, whatever skills that you have, apply it properly to develop, to cultivate your mind so that you are able to solve, firstly, the problems within you. Because the conflicts within you, when your mind say one thing, your body do another thing. When your body want to do another thing, the mind say another thing. How often have you found these things happening in you? Do you find these things? And now when you are seated here, you came to listen, sometimes your mind goes somewhere else, right? And when you go back, you start driving. When you are driving, watch where your mind is. You sure your mind is on the road? Your mind may be somewhere else already, no? And then tomorrow morning when you get up, you prepare, wash your face. While washing your face, your mind may be with a teacup, preparing tea. Yes. And then or coffee. And while you are drinking coffee, your mind may be in the car driving. When you are in the car, your body is in the car, the mind is in the office working. When the body is in the office, where is the mind? At home in the bed sleeping. So you find this is actually what is happening to us. Your mind is doing one thing, body is doing another thing. Your body is doing one thing and your mind is somewhere else doing another thing. And then you tell others, oh, don't trouble me, You see the sufferings of others, you see other people fighting. And what about you? You have fighting, the mind and the body is constantly having conflict. But you can only see this conflict if you quieten your mind, if you calm down your mind and see. Calm down your mind a little bit and then you can notice. And you can see these conflicts. And then you can apply the Dhamma, how to overcome this conflict. And it becomes a real blessing to you if you know how to apply this Dhamma. You can summarize all this Mangala Sutta into this one thing, because it is in this discourse that the Buddha said, Ekayano ayam bhikkhave makko satthanam visuddhya. Buddha says that this is the only way, O monks, for the purification of beings. Dukkha domanasana samatikkamaya. Dukkha domanasana, for the overcoming of pain, physically and mentally, mental and physical suffering, to overcome them. To overcome sorrow, soka parideva atangamaya, to overcome grief, sorrow, and lamentation. Lamentation, they cry and then they, grumble also when they cry, they say, oh, I should not have put in that, in that cooperative, I should not put this money in now, and they start regretting and crying and mourning, but they want, because they want to get rich quickly, and this is lamenting. And to overcome this lamentation, to overcome this kind of sorrow, the Buddha has prescribed certain medicine, very powerful one, very useful one. Not only for this purpose, Buddha also said, for the attainment of knowledge. Here when we say knowledge, we don't mean just information that you are able to get from books. They are real knowledge, they are real insights to the nature of things. There's a difference between real knowledge and ordinary kind of knowledge and information. The ordinary knowledge, information which you gather, now for example, when you hear me, you listen to this Dhamma and you have some understanding and you say you have this knowledge, right? But they are not real knowledge. They are, of course, I don't say some of you can, when listening calmly, you can have true knowledge, you see. But for most, it is an intellectual acceptance. Intellectually, you can understand. And so, you are able to store this data, this information in your CPU. That's what you call, yes, you store in that. And, but, you are not able to see truly. If you know the thing truly, you see, very often you know certain things are not good for you, but still you continue to do that, right? And that is not real knowing, because you might have heard, you might have accepted that thing. That is an information you have got, but you have not really seen it. If you truly see, if you really have that true, that real knowledge, then you will not do it. If you know that, if you really know that it is bad, if you see it is bad, you don't do it. You will not be able to do it also. That is real knowledge, true insight. There's this difference. Otherwise, it is just, a general kind of knowledge that we have, which is important also, but it has to lead on to that. And this is what the Buddha says. It is possible to attain to true knowledge. And it is through this true knowledge, when you begin to see the real nature of life, then you will be able to overcome all sufferings by cutting off the roots of all craving. In other words, you'll be able to realize Nibbana here and now. And so for all these things, the Buddha says, only 4 things. What are they? Chattaro Satipatthana. Mindfulness, the 4 foundations of mindfulness, the practice of mindfulness. You know what the practice of mindfulness are? How to be mindful of your body, how to be mindful on your feelings, how to be mindful on your mind, and how to be mindful on Dhamma or mental objects. The 4 foundations of mindfulness. See? In fact, when you train yourself in the practice of mindfulness, then when you become aware of your body and become aware of your feelings, become aware of your mind and what is in your mind, then this is how you can overcome. You can purify your mind, you can overcome all kinds of sufferings and problems. To develop your awareness, mindfulness, it is called right mindfulness. In other words, whatever you are doing, be aware of it. When we say be aware, it does not mean only you know that you are just eating, just be aware of eating only. No. When we say you have real awareness, your awareness must go with. Because when we say right awareness, it is this awareness which leads us to real wisdom. You see? And so it has 2 components. Not only mindfulness, it has wisdom also. This is what you call satipanya. So you have your awareness and you have that wisdom to understand why you are eating and how much you should eat and what you should eat today. Well, you see, different people need different amount of food at different times. Sometimes you have to eat little. Sometimes you have to eat more. Sometimes you need cooling kind of food. Sometimes you need some to give heat to your body. So you must know what is good for you at that time. And how do you know these things? You can only know this through your mindfulness. When you practice your mindfulness, when you become aware of your body. And how can you develop this awareness? You have to develop this awareness when your body, you must know your body. how your body functions. Knowing this body means to know there are these four very important systems in your body. What are these four important systems? There is what you call the respiratory system. Respiratory system. Breathing in, breathing out. Then there is what you call the circulatory system.